Aw, my Moldarach multiplied. Hello and welcome to my channel, Inch by Inch Art. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made my Moldarach baby mini. So this is going to be a medium-sized creature. It's going to go along with my homebrew D&D game where we're going to be going into a sapphire desert, as was seen in my previous video where I showed how I made the Moldarach. I decided that I wanted some more creatures to go with the large Moldarach in the battle. So I'm using Super Sculpey to sculpt my figure. I've got my 1-inch wooden dowels that I cut into little pucks. I just cut these really thin with a jigsaw, and I've got tons of them from one dowel. And I'm using my silicone sculpting tools that have different shapes on one end and our ball styluses on the other. Other than that, as always, favorite tool is my fingers. I did use a reference image for this, although you'll see later that I decided not to go with the colors. I was kind of up in the air about what colors to do, but I decided that I wouldn't go completely with what natural scorpions have, which is basically translucent, and I gave it a bit of color. Here I'm just using some thin gauge wire to make the legs. Because it's so small, it was much easier to do it this way, rather than actually sculpting legs or adding clay on the outside. Just attaching my little tail. I did stick a wire up into the tail so that I could actually pierce it into the body so it would stay. And I'm making its little tiny baby claws. I debated about whether or not to put eyes inside the claws like the adult Moldarach has, but the reference image from Legend of Zelda does not have eyes inside their claws when they're little, and it would have been pretty hard to do, so I decided that I would in fact leave them with just claws. Ready to bake him. I'm sure you can tell he's a tad brown, even though I was using the neutral color Super Sculpey, so I basically just left him slightly too long. I got distracted finishing making dinner and realized that I needed to pull them out of the oven. So here I'm just using some baking soda and super glue to secure the legs down on the base, and I used the same blue sand that I had colored with mica powder and added some blue glitter to in my adult Moldarach video. I just used Mod Podge to glue it down to the base. And this is all my usual cheap acrylic paints, got from the dollar store. Watered down a little bit just to make it flow better into all the details. And as you can see, I've gone with a different color style than the young Moldarach from the game. I decided to do a little bit of slight orangish color on the belly just because the adult had that really cool striking neon orange that I put all over it that does the glowing under the UV. So I figured the baby could have just the orange tip of its tail and then a little bit on the belly. Here I'm using a dotting tool to paint the iris and pupil of the eyes. I find that these are much easier than paintbrushes frequently, depending on how perfect you want your circle to be, because you don't have to pay attention to where every single little hair of the brush is, and it will make a dot when you put paint on the end and press it on. This is just a very watered down black wash, helps bring out all the details. And here it is dry and done with Papa. It was pretty simple, easy to make, and it's going to be a good addition to my little set of scorpions and Moldarach for my game. I hope you enjoyed that. If you'd like to see more of me making my art, please like, follow, and subscribe.